Athos is an independent monastic state, with a charter ratified by international treaty, one of the world's few politically protected shrines. The historical roots lie deep in the great Orthodox Christian empire of Byzantium, which dominated Western civilization from the 4th century AD until the fall of Constantinople in 1453. Its spiritual origins go back to the hot deserts of 4th century Egypt. When Constantine was Christianizing the Roman Empire, holy men fled to the wastelands, responding to Christ's urging to forsake the world and follow in his footsteps. St. Anthony, the first great hermit, and Pachomius, the founder saint of the earliest communal settlement, who received from an angel the habit which monks still wear today as their spiritual armor, the angelic habit. And St. Basil, the first legislator of monasticism. The first known settlers on Athos arrived in the 9th century, hermits, living alone in caves. The word monk comes from the Greek monos, meaning a solitary, one who is alone with God. About 100 years later, this great peak also beckoned to those who wished for a more organized monastic life. And this monastery was built, the Great Lavra. Its inspiration and builder was an orphan scholar from Constantinople, Athanasios the Athonite. Money and patronage came from the great Byzantine general and future emperor Nikephoros Phocas, the White Death of the Saracens. To begin with, nothing went right. What Athanasios and his men built by day, demons tore down by night. In despair, Athanasios was ready to leave the mountain. Tradition has it that the Virgin Mary intervened. In a vision, she told him to strike a rock with his staff. From it gushed forth a stream of cool, clear water. And to this day, the monks of the Great Lavra pay homage at the Virgin's spring. With fresh hope, Athanasius returned to finish what he had started. But his friend Phocas was murdered, and it was his successor, Emperor John Zimisces, who financed its completion and gave Lavra its charter, placing it under imperial protection. The Great Lavra survives virtually intact and is the oldest and most prestigious of the Athonite monasteries. The Great Lavra owes much to Byzantine emperors. Royal gifts and largesse were heaped upon the monks. Among them, this great golden, bejeweled Gospel of Phocas. countless manuscripts. Icons. And reliquaries. These are still among the greatest treasures of the mountain. Lavra thus set the pattern on which subsequent monasteries were established. Despite the ravages of history, Athos grew. Now there are 20 sovereign monasteries with many dependencies. All predate the fall of Byzantium in the 15th century. Many early monastic centers were sited in remote, desolate places. Athos is remote, but it is a paradise, rich in vegetation, flowers, and wildlife. It is also known as the Garden of the Virgin Mary.
It is believed by the monks that after the death of Christ, but before her own death, the Mother of God visited the Holy Mountain and said, "This place will be mine forever." And so the monks feel that they are under the special protection of the Holy Virgin. Athos is not just a place of holy people, it is itself a holy place. Before we think of the monks, we should think of the mountain, the holy mountain, the great pyramid rising 6,500 feet out of the sea. This is a place where God is present, where the saints are present. This is a point in sacred space.
The 20th century has as yet made few inroads on Athos. There are times when you feel you have crossed the threshold into another age, particularly when you walk by yourself in the forest and up the mountain.
By walking alone, you will discover something that is the essence of the Holy Mountain. Stillness, silence. Silence not just as an emptiness, but as a presence. Silence not just as the absence of speech, but as an attitude of listening.
The hermit tradition, which reached here more than 1,000 years ago, still lives on. Solitary monks continue to inhabit cells in the most unusual and inaccessible places.